Nick Cushing, welcome to the Sports Agents. How are you? Where are you? What time of day is it where you are?
I'm good, thank you, and thank you for having me. It is 8:30 a.m. in the morning. I'm in Denver, Colorado.
And the reason you're there, of course, as we teased in your introduction, is that you are Denver's first head coach. You were hired last year as such, because this is a brand new team, and what we've kind of all been fascinated about in the Sports Agents HQ is what it is like to be involved in something that is like you've got a blank sheet of paper, because most football teams in this country have got, you know, hundreds of years of history, and they come with all kinds of baggage and, you know, the regional kind of connections. So when you're starting from scratch, this is, you know, it's like you can do it the most perfect way possible, one assumes, and just build a team from the ground up. Give us a little insight.
Yeah, it's firstly that was the main reason that this opportunity attracted me. One, building a team from the ground up, but also being given. I was really clear from the start that I wanted to have a sort of ownership and a responsibility in every area of growing this football team, and it comes with it's challenging, right? Starting a team from scratch is very, very challenging, but I think initially it starts with aligning the objective and the ambition. I think in the recruitment process of me coming here, one of the main questions that our primary owner, Rob Cohen, asked me and I asked him was, what is the ambition for ownership? What is the ambition of Denver as a city for an NWSL franchise? And it was to create a winning team and to have an organization that can win consistently every year. And that was exactly what I wanted personally from my next opportunity. So it was a good start from the off. Then I think it's about, the strategy and how you go about building that, that team that wants to be a winning team. And that was complex, and it still is. But through 2025, being involved in that was, incredibly exciting.
We should say you have decided as well that you wanted to kind of have your own staff, build your own staff, not just bring in a staff with you that you previously worked with. So tell us a bit about your global search then for the dream team that you wanted around you. Because I think there are so many parallels here with business, aren't there? With building a business, and I'm sure anybody listening who comes from that kind of environment will find it fascinating.
Yeah, I think first and foremost, once you decide you want to be a team with ambition and you want to be a team that wants to continually try and compete, you have to be really clear on who you want to be. So we had a lot of conversations initially with ownership and with Jen Millett, our president, Kurt Johnson, our GM, about who we want to be, how we want to reflect the Denver culture and public, how we want to play the game, and how we want to be perceived and seen by everybody within not only NWSL but in the football community. So we're really lucky here in Denver. We sold 15,000 season tickets before we even named a coach or a player.
Wow.
So there is an incredible energy and an incredible enthusiasm for, Denver is really ready for a professional women's sports team. And for me, it was about going and finding the right people who could deliver that. Not only world-class skill set, but also, a great character and a great personality. I'm a huge believer in working with good people. I'm really, really clear on what gets the best out of me. And as a head coach, I need energy, I need ambition, I need positivity around me. So we just went on that search. We put a few jobs out, almost like advertised those roles. I think for me, when I built the coaching team and the performance team, I was really clear on the types of people that I needed and the skill sets that I needed, because I know myself, I'm quite high energy. I like to be out coaching. I like to be in and amongst the people that I work with. But I also know where I need to add real skill set and real energy around me. So it was really enjoyable, and I'm really, really pleased with the stuff that we've built here.
Two of your owners, Peyton Manning, who anybody who's ever followed NFL will know, and you've got Michaela Schriffen as well, who of course is a is the most successful, I think more than 5, alpine skier ever, and you might have recently seen her competing. She and Peyton, I imagine, have been sources of wisdom as well for you. Have you been able to tap into their sporting heritage and success?
Yeah, I mean, I've been really lucky throughout my career. With 20 years at the City Football Group, I've worked with some incredible people, and looking for my next opportunity, I was definitely looking for an opportunity where I could improve myself, where I could continue to learn and grow. And our wider ownership group, our primary owner here, Rob Cohen, is an incredibly successful businessman. Our wider ownership group with the likes of Melody Hobson, CEO of Ariel Investments, the Coors family, are incredibly successful people. But to have the opportunity to have the ear of Peyton Manning, two-time Super Bowl winner, the most MVPs in NFL history, Michaela Schifrin, the most decorated alpine skier, and a Denver native, three gold medals, 5 world championships, to have the ability to use their knowledge and experience and get their advice has been incredible for me. Will be something that I will consistently draw on. It is a superpower for our team, for our players, for our staff, and something that has been a very unique experience for me in growing this team.
And were Denver drawn to you because when you took charge of Man City, they were new to the WSL, and you had to bring in so many big signings, didn't you, to be able to compete with the rest of the league and the likes of Steph Houghton, Jill Scott. You worked with some big names who ended up being huge players for their country as well. So were they attracted because of your CV in that respect, that you'd had that experience, a similar experience before?
Yeah, I think in the initial conversations that we had, and it was a really extensive sort of recruitment process between Denver and myself in having those conversations about how we create an environment and a culture that can almost facilitate a winning team. What are the types of people and players that we need in and around the organization to win? And being able to draw on my experience of building the Manchester City women's team and working with the likes of Steph and Jill, and I've got KB here with me now as my goalkeeping coach, who was my goalkeeper at Manchester City, and drawing on that experience, but also using the experience around me. My time in MLS has been so positive for attacking an NWSL league. Very similar in the sense of both leagues are salary capped. I feel like those conversations went really well, and we were really aligned on the direction of how we build this franchise, how we build this team, and how we, ultimately we chase the objective, which is to be a championship team.
You did very well in your first few years, of course, there, winning the league in 2016. And in that first season, you a baby, 29 years old. So, it was obviously a big job, a big opportunity, but right at the start of your career, really, to have that opportunity and to be trusted with a team that went on to have so much success, and I think had a really supportive group like you have now as well, I guess, in terms of the ownership wanting them to mirror the success of their men's team as well. What other similarities have you felt there are, and differences actually, between NWSL and WSL?
Yeah, the similarities in the build of this team have been, I believe there is, in recruitment, ultimately you need good players, right? You need good players and you need good people, and our ownership here have been incredibly supportive and incredibly ambitious in trying to attract players that can help us win. And first and foremost, that starts with players that have won within the league. We did that at Manchester City Women with the likes of Steph and Jill and Tony Duggan, players that had won before. We've done that here with the likes of Kaylee Kurtz and Janine Sonis and Ali Brazier. Then I think you've got to go and get the next best players. We went into the NCAA college system this year and managed to attract the likes of Jazz Aiken, Una McCormack and Devon Lynch. Really good potential players. We did that at Man City with Kira Walsh, Georgia Stanway, Lauren Hemp, Esme Morgan. So similarities there. I think the one area that was complex in this build was trying to attract world-class talent, but we're really lucky that we attracted Lindsay Heaps. And I think that the differences are in that attraction of world-class talent is there's a salary cap here. So there is a very defined restriction on how much you can spend, and there is a parity over all of the clubs. So you can't use financials as a real power to accelerate your ability to win here. It's about coaching, it's about recruitment, and it's about culture. So it is very, very different, but with our ownership, we managed to attract Lindsay. Lindsay is going to be a huge help for us. She's won on the world stage. She is the US women's national team captain. And I feel like we've got the foundation for a team that can be really competitive.
I imagine recruiting when you live in such a beautiful part of the States as well must be quite a good coup for you, because I've never been there, but I just have this image of living kind of a very mountain kind of surrounded life, and it's all very outdoorsy and very wholesome, and you know your kids will probably end up becoming Olympic skiers, and you'll all just look well and healthy and sickeningly good all the time. Is it how I imagine living in Denver or near Denver is?
I lived on the East Coast in New Jersey, worked in New York for 5 years, and Denver is very, very different. A lot more outdoor space. The claim to fame that I was told 100 times in the recruitment process is Denver gets 300 days of sun a year, and it does. It is literally beautiful. The sky is blue. Some great places to go visit: Golden, Boulder. You know, you can go up to Aspen and skiing, and yeah, it's a fantastic place. But I think the real attraction for me is Denver is a real hotbed of football in the US. You look at the likes of Lindsay Heap, Sophie Smith, you know, Mallory Swanson. The majority of the US women's national team was developed here in Colorado. So for me, having you know, obviously a beautiful place to live is fantastic, but having the opportunity to build a world-class organization was something that I couldn't say no to.
Yeah, as you say, that kind of hotbed of soccer, football, means that you've got, and you mentioned the 15,000 season tickets, you've got an audience there. You've got, you know, people who really want this success and they want to come and support you as well, which is fantastic, isn't it? So what is the ambition then for this team? How quickly can you get off the ground and take top prize?
Yeah, you know, you referenced me being a 29-year-old back at Manchester City, right? And when I reflect on my mindset there, I thought we were going to win in year one, and we started off that season. I was fearless as a head coach. I believed we could go create a winning team, and we lost our first 4 games, but we did go on and win a trophy that year, and it did give us the foundation for the further years to be successful consistently. Now, I feel like I've got that sort of mindset back, right? I believe that we can win, but expansion comes with incredible challenge, right? A brand new group. We've got 51 staff here that are all brand new, you know, 25 players and 26 staff that have come together on January the 17th. And, you know, we have an idea and we have a real clarity on who we want to be and how we want to play. But now we've got to put that work into action. And it's about sort of our attitude, our behavior and the actions that we put into place. But you know, I came from MLS where St. Louis won the West in their expansion year. San Diego won the West in their expansion year last year. So, you know, that gives me inspiration. You know, I know Bradley, the head coach at St. Louis, and I've used his knowledge. I know Tyler, the sporting director at San Diego. Casey Stoney did incredibly well in her first year's expansion with San Diego Wave here. So I've been able to call upon some really real experience and people that have experienced expansion. And you know, I'm incredibly impatient. I want to win and I want to win quick. So although I'm a realist and I understand that there is going to be challenge this year, pre-season's going well and we're just going to go and attack and try and
first
make
game next week, isn't it?
And try and
first game of the regular
as high as
season.
possible. First game's away at Bay FC. Yeah, so we go on the road for the first 3 games, and then we have our home opener, which is against Washington Spirit. We're actually playing that in Empower Field at the NFL Stadium because we've managed to sell 50,000 tickets, and we're still selling
50,000.
them. So,
wow.
We've broke the NWSL record for one single game. Yeah,
wow.
So, you know, it's definitely going to be a lot of energy here for our team.
That's incredible when you haven't kicked a ball yet. That's amazing. And I understand the group spent $110 million to join the NWSL, which was a record spend as well. So there's a lot of pressure there, isn't there, Nick, in terms of what it's cost them to get into the league?
Yeah, I mean, the what I wanted was ambition, and I think the support and the sort of commitment that the ownership have shown in not only the franchise fee being a record franchise fee, but, you know, we're building a women's specific stadium that will be built in 2028, and while we wait for that to be built, our ownership are going to build a temporary stadium so that we don't have to be a tenant in somebody else's property. We're building a stadium that will reflect into Miami's in MLS, which is a modular stadium. So we're actually building 2 15,000 seater stadiums. We've got a performance center that is an incredible sort of resource and training facility that we can work out of, that has a record sponsorship from Common Spirit in men's and women's soccer here. So, you know, there's a lot of firsts, which brings a lot of expectation, but I worked at City Football Group for 20 years, and whether I was running the under-12s boys, the women's professional team, or New York City, there was expectation. It's sort of ingrained in me. I like that expectation. I like the pressure, and it's probably the reason why this opportunity felt like the right one for me.
You've managed, as you mentioned, to draw back Lindsay Heaps from Europe back to the US, and in the last decade or so, we haven't seen the great talent, especially those players who play for England, going and playing over in the NWSL, because they don't need to, because the WSL now is so strong. Do you think there'll be a time when you can, you want to attract those big name players over to? Could we see a Leah Williamson going over and playing for Denver?
I think the opportunity to come and challenge yourself in NWSL is something that I would always promote to anybody. I went to MLS as a 35-year-old coach, 36-year-old coach, and was a great challenge. I think the salary cap nature of the league means that everybody attacks everybody. There is a real parity in the sort of level of each team. If you look at NWSL this year, any one of 16 teams can win it. Gotham won last year. They finished 8th in the regular season and went on to win the championship. So it's a really exciting league. I think it's a challenge for anybody. I think if you look at the likes of Washington Spirit and Kansas City Current and Gotham and those teams that are consistently challenging for the trophy, they're great places to play with great crowds, great atmospheres. We want to be in that mix. So Denver will be an incredible place to play. I do think this league is definitely one of the best leagues in the world. You can see the likes of Lindsay coming back reflects that. So, who knows? I think for us, the main aim is to create a team that can play good football, that can entertain the 15,000 that come in every week, and aim for championships. And I think if we do that will be enticing and for anybody.
When you hear those kind of numbers, 50,000 for your first home game and 15,000 season tickets sold, it's very enticing, isn't it, to want to ply your trade somewhere that it's appreciated so much. And we appreciate your time as well, Nick, in this important week ahead of your first actual league game. So good luck with that. We'll keep our eye on Denver. And what's your, you've got your, I can see the badge there, because obviously all this stuff as well has to be designed, doesn't it? What colours? What's the badge going to be like? All that stuff. So what's the actual content of your badge, of your emblem?
Yeah, so the badge is basically, it says Denver Summit, our name, and then it has the Rocky Mountains with the snow caps on the top, and basically reflects Colorado as a state and definitely Denver as a city. Our name there was 4 or 5 different names, and the fans voted on Denver Summit, and it really reflects where we want to get to, right? We're aiming to get to the summit, and green is the national color of Colorado and really reflects the sort of rural nature of the state. So we've been really pleased with the way that the brand has been received, and it definitely reflects who we want to be.
Yeah, well, I unbeknown all of that to me, the green. I've turned up today as a Denver Summit fan by accident, so I think you're now my new NWSL team. Nick, great to catch up and to hear what it takes to get a team off the ground, and we can't wait to see if you can get to the summit.
No, thank you. Appreciate you having me.
The Sports Agents
with Gabby Logan and Mark Chapman.